What's up, guys? It's the Ask Jeremy and
Carey. Hey,
show.
yo.
What is going on, guys? We're back at it again this week talking about alcohol. Questions coming in. Does alcohol really impact my performance? How does a couple drinks weekly or daily impact me? Why or why not?
I don't mind having a glass of wine on occasion. I like some wine, but does alcohol impact performance? The answer is yes, it does, okay? On several different facets, but let's start with simple hydration. Alcohol will dehydrate you, and we know that hydration is a key factor in your performance, right? Your mental focus. It is the #1 thing that keeps the body ebbing and flowing. So we know that hydration is a big impact when you do drink. Second, sleep. I think this is almost #1 for me. Sleep is so important, and we know that impact of sleep with alcohol, it disrupts your REM sleep. So you getting into that deep sleep will actually be impacted. Who has, guilty, woken up from a glass of red wine about 2 a.m. and just ping, right? And your body is now trying to metabolize that alcohol, and it wakes you up and it disrupts a nice calm sleep. Performance specific. So yes, sleep and hydration affecting performance, but just mental focus and your acute attention to detail when you are training absolutely has an impact, right? We're a little sluggish, we're a little off kilter. We just think our approach might be different. Maybe it's you're desiring more intensity, but yet because you have that alcohol in your system trying to recover a little bit, you're dehydrated, lack of sleep, that actual focus to get back into your workout is lacking. So 3 key components. Jeremy, do you have anything that you're thinking of you want to add to that?
I just have some personal stories.
You know, and I do, on top of that, then I'll pass the ball to Jeremy. I think, you know, anytime I gear up to have an event come up, say 6 weeks out from the run, or CrossFit Games for me, or something I am training for, one of the first things I get rid of is alcohol, guys. It's just top of the line. It's like, what do I need to do to shift and change so my performance increases? And alcohol is one of the first things I take off my things I enjoy all of a sudden. So what about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think that alcohol was brought to attention when I had kids and how it impacted my parenting abilities, and also relationally.
You don't parent better when you have a couple of drinks?
Ooh, I think it's the next morning when you wake up. And then understanding data through the Whoop band and what the metrics read, and showing really what my body's doing at night when I'm supposed to be sleeping, but I'm really working, and getting that red on the recovery is not optimal. And so I think the visual feedback of wearing the Whoop band gave me a lot of perspective. I knew I started to taper back alcohol, just because as I've aged, you know, you wake up, you feel horrible, so you're just not optimal. And there's a 2 to 3 day residual that, hey, on Sunday, Monday, my brain doesn't function. I don't have the acute attention that I'd like. So it's just like, is this really providing as much, you know, positive as it is negative? And when the negative outweighs the positive, it's a no for me. But what I do know is that if I do have 2 beers in the middle of the day, is a much more positive post recovery than if I drink 2 beers at night or 3 beers at night, and how it impacts me. So I am into day drinking, but at minimal, because my return is better. I have a great day. I can follow it with water and food, start processing it in the system, and then have a better recovery and more functional the next day. So it's all about optimizing for me. But I know that when I was in my early 20s, late 20s, you know, alcohol is a more social aspect of our lives. So it's how do I enjoy and mitigate the amount that I drink with boundaries. So I think that's the big part of setting yourself up to success with creating personal boundaries around alcohol and what you want for your outcome.
Yeah, you say boundaries. Does that mean like rules? Like for every drink I have, then I follow it with 12 ounces of water? Or do you, it sounds like you don't drink in the evening, or at least that's not your preference. You drink earlier in the day so you can rehydrate afterwards. So I know sometimes, you know, I have a rule, you know, no more than 2 glasses of wine in the evening, because that just sets the tone for me to absolutely not sleep well. And some of us think that just have a couple of drinks, you hit the bed and you fall right out and you sleep better. Not true, not the case. But any rules, Jeremy, or are those your boundaries you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Like just setting rules on when and what, like sugary drinks, like if you're gonna have those, when and how, or if you're gonna just stick to tequila or vodka, something that's gonna give less impact overall. So it's just kind of like selecting what and how and when you'll do what you do. If I'm just gonna enjoy a beer, and just kind of set those you know, and it's also good to have accountability partner. Somebody that you're working with, because you could have 1 and 2 and go like, hey, I feel good, I'm gonna have 3 or 4 more. So I think it's always a good if you have a partner that can keep you accountable, that you trust and rely on.
Some people say, well, what's the best alcohol to drink? You know, I always say, you know, keep it clear, right? So I mean, tequila or vodka, we go with that one, lower calories. And then also you know, whiskey, or don't be mixing these things with sugary add-ons, orange juice, Coca-Cola, whatever the mixer could potentially be. But what I want to share is something too, I think calorically, that we misinterpret, you know, how many calories in a drink. Of course, it depends if you're drinking something high calorie because of Coke or Coca-Cola, but we have a calculator that we oftentimes share and use with our Lift Off Nutrition clients. And just so, here's an example, 200 calorie drink, alcoholic beverage, divided by 4, which is your carbohydrate caloric intake per 1 gram, equal 200 calorie drink equal 50 grams carbohydrate. Okay, so if anybody that counts macros, just do that math. And then for fat, right, 9 calories per 1 gram fat. So 200 calorie drink divided by 9 for the fat, 22.2 grams fat. Okay, that's a high fat meal in 1 drink. But even when you take 100 of those calories or 100 of those fats, divided by the 9 or the 4, right, for caloric intake, that 1 calorie drink will be 25 grams carbs and 11.2 grams fat. So interpret that into your macros. So we share this because when you're counting those, it helps you to go, okay, how much have I allotted for the 1 drink, or, you know, the 2 drinks, and how are you adjusting your caloric intake or fat intake throughout the day so that those meet your macros at the end of the day. That's just a little game you can play, right, when you're trying to stay on track. But just remember, alcohol doesn't metabolize the same as these good carbohydrates like fruits and vegetables, right? They're empty calories. They're not going to give you all the nutrition value that real food does. So you're making an exchange, you're making a decision, but you guys are adults out there. Be responsible. Be responsible eaters.
Yeah,
responsible drinkers.
I think about it in Texas because it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get a margarita. It's probably like 100 grams of carbs and sugar, maybe more, and then I'm going to eat some chips and salsa and order some enchiladas. So we're looking at like 250 grams of carbs. So it's just like they add up quick. So once we introduce some data metrics and some recovery metrics, it starts to shift our attitude and maybe our approach to what it is we're doing. But it still is an opportunity sometimes to have fun and enjoy yourself. So we do encourage that, but information is power. And if you can apply it, then you will be empowered. So guys, best of luck on your alcohol consumption and you'll find your path for sure.
Awesome, guys. Thanks. Bring us your questions.
What comes around once a day?